Hello, everybody. A couple of weeks ago, my good friend Darren from England came to visit us in our house. And like the good old days, he was recording videos, taking pictures, asking questions. And then his intuition told him that he wanted to make a movie out of it. And at first, I felt a bit hesitant. And even a little bit ashamed because I was thinking that people might judge me for my choices, judge me for my doubts, or even judging me for asking help to the outside world. But then I realized that it is okay to ask some help from time to time, especially if you are in a very difficult period in your life. We have each other to help each other, and together we can survive everything, I think. So first of all, I really want to show my deepest gratitude to Darren for putting all his energy and effort in creating this movie. And also I want to give thanks to all the people that have been donating, that have been supporting, that have been giving advice, all the people that showed up, all the people that I know and that I don't know, the friends of my mom, the people from the past that have been showing up suddenly out of nowhere with big generosity and love and care. Also giving thanks to my beautiful son for being the light of my life.
Me, Howakhan.
And even being in the biggest hell is a beautiful moment with him by my side. Also giving thanks to both of my parents for supporting me, each one in their unique way. My father for the logic and the practical and the conventional, and then my mom for the spiritual and to be beside me in my most difficult moments in life, and also for the healing that she's been giving me. Giving thanks to all the people that were beside me and that stayed beside me, that didn't run away through the difficult and through the easy. So thank you so much for your support. Everybody that's gonna watch this movie is gonna be an angel that's gonna help me in my healing journey to get the best of care, conventional or non-conventional, as I want to combine the two as much as I can. So yeah, just thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
Deepest gratitude to everybody. So it's June the 1st. I'm happy that March and April has passed because it was horrible months for me. In December, I got diagnosed with breast cancer, which is the HER2 negative hormone sensitive one. Yeah, and since then everything just stopped. So first of all, I couldn't believe it. At some point, I was just looking in the mirror and I was showering and I saw like a little bit of a change of a shape in my breast. And I was like, what is this? And then at some point I was in the bathroom, like the third day, it was still there. And suddenly I had like this big shock in my bedroom. And when I closed my eyes, I just saw images of hospitals and me lying there in a bed and people around me. And I just had like these really horrible visions. And then I realized like, oh my God, this is cancer. Fuck. Sorry for the bad word. And a lot of friends and family and loved ones were telling me like, nah, it's imagination. You cannot have cancer. This is not true. La 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 la. And at some point, somebody just told me like, let's make an appointment with a doctor so you can see that nothing is happening. You are cancer free and it's just imagination. So I did that, and it was a very dark room in the hospital. I was lying there. We did a mammograph, we did an echography, and they started with my right breast, and they said like, oh, nothing weird to see here. And then they took the left breast, and then they were like, ugh. And that moment was like, no. And then he was like, okay, lady, there's a problem here. You're probably gonna have to come back many times. And at some point he was talking and he was saying things and I just blacked out. And I was like, no, 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 this is not happening. And I just ran out. I completely just left the room and I ran. And the good thing is there was somebody with me who was actually listening to what the doctor said, because I was already out. I was like, this is not happening, bye. Because I'm so scared of doctors. So of course, when they diagnose you, the first thing is like they want to do a biopsy, they want to do a lot of scans. They tell you like, we have to know what this is so we know how to treat you, and then. So it's super traumatic because you get the news and you suddenly have to get into an MRI, into a PET scan, into a CT scan, into scans I even don't know what it is. They inject things in the arms. You're like lying under scary machines. I've never been in hospitals. I never had operations. So I was like, yeah, what is all this happening to me? And of course, panic, no? It's the first thing that comes on your mind. And I was already like, I was thinking it was a punishment. I always felt so connected to spirit and to nature and to life and to God and to everything. And I always had this idea that I was protected by great mystery because we made so many pacts with the medicines and with nature. My job was also to help heal other people. So I never thought something like this would happen to me. And the first thing I thought was like, I'm punished. This is a punishment. What is happening? And everything that I thought was reality was suddenly like gone. The most scary thing was the biopsy for me because it's a huge needle and they just like, they put it in the whole breast. And then I was very scared because I feel that after this biopsy thing, that's the moment when everything really started hurting. After that, I was really super tired all the time. And that's when I really noticed the cancer, like physically. And I don't know if the biopsy made things worse or it's just like when that you really feel changes. But if I would do everything again, I would probably say no to biopsy. But it's difficult without a biopsy to really say if it's cancer or not and what kind of cancer, what type of cancer, what kind of treatment. And after that, they just want to rush you into treatments. And you don't get time to think, you don't get time to reflect. You don't have time almost to choose the right person to treat you. Everything has to be fast, 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 which I now understand as well. Why that is, because it can be fast growing, and the faster you can treat something, the faster, the smaller the problem. Then I went to the first plastic surgeon to check like what is their plan, what are my options. And I was concerned of how it was going to look. Like, is it going to be beautiful? Are you going to be able to spare my nipple? Do you want to amputate the whole thing? And actually, they really, really were keen to amputating the whole breasts. In my eyes, it's safer, but it's also easier somehow for them. The doctor just told me, like, it doesn't matter what it looks like, you have to survive now. But for me, it mattered what it looked like because I'm super young. I'm still young, I still have a life. I didn't want to have this physical trauma of not loving myself anymore, or every time looking in the mirror and see like this huge deformation. So I went to another doctor, and the other doctor, he wanted to maybe spare the nipple, but then he wanted to make a cut diagonally, how to say, through the whole breast and then spare the nipple. But then they take the nipple off. They do the whole surgery from the hole and then they put it back on. And I was like so scared when they told me those things, like, no. And then we found a doctor, an important person in my life told me, like in America, they make the cuts in the armpits, but they didn't do it here in Belgium. So I was looking through AI, like what are my options? And mostly the option could be here, a scar here, like people who do a boob job. And then there was like something about a place in Belgium where they do the cut here in the armpit. And I was like, if I do something, I want to do that one. But I was also talking to people in Mexico, and there was somebody who worked with snake venom, and snake venoms had really big potentials of healing cancer. Then I also had like this inner feeling that I needed to connect with a maracame, with a medicine man from Mexico. And I just felt like something is there in Mexico for me. So I went to Mexico, and of course my whole family was freaking out. And in Mexico, I got the chance to really reflect about my life, to really dig deep in the root cause of the cancers. Where are my deepest pains? How can I resolve it? My deepest fears. And the snake venom maybe didn't heal the cancer because meanwhile it was growing and growing and getting worse. But somehow it made me stronger, which I really needed because when I was in Belgium, I was broken. I was completely freaking out and I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel safe with the doctors. I didn't feel safe with people around me. When I'm in Mexico, I was just feeling so safe, just being there in nature, looking at the ocean. There was some moment in the ocean I was breathing in and the water was coming and flowing towards me, and I was breathing out, the water went, and I was just sitting there in front of the ocean and we were just like breathing and breathing out each other. And then the ocean just told me, like, Charlotte, you don't have to become anything. You don't have to become anyone. What you need to do and what your purpose of life is to connect as much as you can with me, with nature, with existence. You are a being on a planet and you just have to experience me. And that's all you have to do. And I was so, like, I felt so embraced by that moment. Just that you don't have to be anybody, you don't have to become anything, you just have to be and experience. And experiencing the earth is a very difficult thing, I find, because sometimes you're so caught up with all the things you think you need to do in life, and really connecting, like, it's almost, I felt like I had like a plug here, like a wine bottle that has a plug, and I was just like taking it off, and somehow I felt like my roots were cut off, and you were just like living your life as a train, but not really like. So that was the last message I got from Mexico, from the ocean, before I flew back to Belgium. When I did the scan, the cancer got really worse. It's like double the size, the tumor, and I also had like a sabotage. I had a sabotage with my teeth. The root canals were infecting. I went to the dentist. He wanted to clean my root canal. His tool broke off inside my teeth. I was in so much agonized pain. Then I went back to the dentist to take this thing out, and then the next tooth was infected, also a root canal. Then I was like 3 weeks in the house, like, and it's very hard to heal naturally like that when you're like suffering of the pain. So I had like a lot of sabotages. Then some personal things happened as well afterwards that really broke me, which I don't really want to talk about. So at some point I just was like, it's time to do the surgery, because I don't have the strength anymore to try to heal, because I'm just too broken. I found this place who were maybe gonna do surgery from the armpit. And they first said, no, we cannot do that. We don't have the tools for it. And if we're gonna do it, it's only gonna be in April, which was like a month or 2 months from that moment. And they said, like, if we're gonna do it and if we're gonna try out this surgery for the first time in Belgium, we're gonna do it with somebody who doesn't have so much cancer in the breast. We would do it for preventive gene people. And I was like, no, just do it with me. Na, 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 na. And the woman was like, it's unsafe. You have to wait too long until we have the tools in the hospital, and it's really not a good idea. It's better that you do like a surgery with a cut underneath and as fast as possible. And I was like, no, if you don't do it, I'm not gonna do surgery. I'm gonna wait. So in the end, like this lady who did the surgery, she was amazing. She really wrote people in Italy, experts who do these kinds of surgeries. She sent all my scans and to double check if it was a safe procedure, and Italy confirmed. And then she told me like, we're gonna do that surgery with you. Then somehow it clicked. Like maybe it was not my journey to completely heal naturally from cancer, because you cannot really help anybody with healing naturally. You can give them tips, but not everybody's going to be able. And even to share this message out in the world, it's a dangerous message. You can heal naturally from cancer, because a lot of people will never be able to do that. And then somehow people with cancer now in Belgium can have this beautiful surgery. Even people with cancer like me, with a lot of cancer in the breast. If I look in the mirror now, it's like the same breast. And if I lift up my arm and I do, then you see like a little scar here, but that's it. Yeah, it has been a beautiful surgery. Everything went successful. I always thought that surgery was going to be a traumatic experience, but actually it was a beautiful experience. And also the most beautiful thing was that I was lying in the hospital, and especially there was one moment that Howakhan was sleeping next to me in the hospital. And there was one time I couldn't walk very well to go to the toilet. My arm was almost like it weighed like 20 kilo, so I couldn't lift it up anymore. There were drains coming out of my body, like bottles with blood inside. And then there was a moment when I had to go to the toilet, and Howakhan, he lifted up my drains and he supported my arm, and he was like, "Mommy, I'm gonna take care of you. Look, I'm gonna walk you to the toilet. Don't worry, I will take care of everything. If you need something, do you want like a blueberry? Do you want a little bit of water? Da 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 da." And I was like really like walking like this, like this to the toilet, and my child was supporting me. And the most horrible moment in your life can be just super beautiful when your child is next to you.
What's your name?
Howakhan,
How old are you?
8. She's nice. She always takes good care of me. When I was a baby and I had no hair, and my mom had with paint did a bell here like Avatar. That's funny. And here's my dogs. 7. And this is a little bit grumpy one. And that one is a scared one, the small one.
It was Howakhan's birthday, and I told him I had a gift for him, and he thought it was a drum set or something like that, or a skateboard. And we were driving in the car, and it was really far away. It's like 3 hours drive for the gift. And he was like super excited, but Lalok died like the year before, our Cholo Squintly dog. And we always wanted to have another one, but it never came to our path. It was also super expensive to have like another Cholo Squintly. And we arrived in the place, and it was very dark, and there was like this beautiful King Cholo Squintly waiting at the door. And then we walked inside, and then there were a lot of puppies. Right? And what was your reaction? And then Howakhan was super surprised. And then we had this little beautiful Cholo Squintly. And Ixtli means little obsidian. Right before my birthday, I got my diagnosis. So my birthday and Howakhan's birthday is very close to each other. And somehow I feel like Tlalok, our other dog, he died from cancer. And I was with him until his last day. And I think he was so grateful that somehow he sent me like Itsli to support me in my healing journey of the cancer. Yeah, and the woman was so kind, and she was so happy that we were taking such good care of Itsli that she gave us as a gift Quetzali, her little twin sister.
Lychees and mangoes for fruit. She likes to drive. She likes music, hardcore music, and she likes to paint. Doctors and cancer because she's sick. She's sick and now she cannot help herself. And if she's not healed, she is gonna go to do chemo. Mommy, you also gotta believe in the healing. I would say that my mom gotta believe in the good things and not in the bad things, and that she gotta believe in herself and she gotta believe in the healing and best things she have, because if she don't believe in the good things, then bad things is gonna happen. I know they're gonna stay alive, and I love my mommy a lot, and she's not going to die or something. Good things are gonna happen, and I know, and I'm always there for my mommy. And I'm always gonna be and never stop. Oh.
So the next thing that happened was, of course, the results. So they take out the tumor and they check like what's happening in the tumor, what's the results. They had to remove my lymph nodes because it was already, my lymph node was positive. It would have been really great news if it was like 3 lymph nodes. 5 would be like really not good news. But my news was it was in 21 lymph nodes, so that's a lot. They took 23 out and 21 were positive, which means like the cancer is already moving around in your body. It's microcells, and I think if you have microcells, you can beat them much easier, but the doctors think otherwise. So their option would be chemotherapy, the strongest they have, and radiation, and then you have a little chance that you will be healed. But there was a complication that there were also spots found in my lungs, which was already there in the beginning of the diagnosis. But they said like, let's ignore that that's for later. But this means that maybe from beginning onwards, I was already stage 4, which means terminal, which means they would just give you medicines to just like expand your lifespan a little bit, but it's not to heal anymore. So I'm in this crossroad. Like I always felt a lot of resistance against chemotherapy. In my eyes or my beliefs, it's like destroying everything in your body, your immune system. It's like shutting down your whole system. Also with everything that has happened, also in the personal life, which broke me. I'm not strong enough now, I feel, to be bald. It's also gonna lose my fertility completely. I feel I'm not ready. But like not doing anything can also be fatal. You can just die. Because if I don't do chemo and I have recurrence, and I have recurrence everywhere in my body, then I can just die. And it can go quite fast. So I'm in the crossroad between 2 realities now. It's like this Rubik's Cube. And it all goes back to even my mother and my father. Like it's been like my life, it's like a yin yang. This is my father, and he believes in everything that is conventional. And then you have my mother, who believes in all the spiritual and spirits and trusting in the universe, and that you have power over your own mind to change all the cells in your body. And I'm in the middle of it, and I'm really like, I really don't know. I don't know what to do. Because the chemotherapy and what the doctors say, it has a lot of scientific proof that this is the thing that has been working on people. But if I look further into it, I also see that even if you take chemotherapy, the chances of reoccurrence are there anyway. But then you have like this other side where there's so many hospitals who do like less invasive treatments, but it's just super expensive. It's almost like 23,000 euros, which I will never have. I really don't have money. I would just wish I had like an option to try these things first, to have less invasive treatments, but I just don't have access to it. The only access that I have is to really like connect with myself and with my spirits and like I'm juicing every day. They told me that I have to do. I'm taking mushroom drinks. I'm doing everything that I have in my power with the little money I have to connect with myself and to heal. There's also like a woman in India who called me and she said like I have an Ayurvedic hospital, but we also have a machine that is a cytotron, which is a crazy thing because my mom, like a week before she called us, she told me like that she had a dream. We sleep together now because she's staying with me. And she woke up and she was like, Charlotte, I had a dream about you. And there was a woman who called us, but not with a phone. She just came to us and she said like, I have the solution for Charlotte and this is gonna heal her. It looks like a med bed. You just have to lie under it and this is gonna, and the dream told her that this is gonna be the machine who's gonna heal her. And then like a week later, I just totally forgot. I was sitting in my garden. I was like, what do I have to do with my life now? There was like, everything was a dead end. And I was like, I didn't want to stay in Belgium. I didn't want to go for the doctors. I just didn't know what I had to do. And right on that moment, I was like, I need a sign. I need like something to look forward to. And that moment, this woman of India called me, like, Charlotte, we can help you here in the hospital. There's so many people who healed. There is a machine that's called a cytotron. You have to lie underneath it. It's like a quantum machine. She said it was alien technology even. And she was like, I saw so many people heal. And there was like this thing of hope inside of me. But also like the doctors, if I just mention it, they said like, so like who to believe, you know? Like it's so difficult. The doctors, they are the experts, but it's going to be the road of suffering. But if I have to survive, of course, for my child, I'm willing to do it, although I really don't feel it. And then you have this one, the colorful one, like the less invasive one, the journey of going back to India. But then there's this fear of making the same mistake when I went to Mexico. Like maybe I'm just losing time and the cancer gets stronger and it's irreversible. But somehow I feel like I really want to do it. Because if I would have never gone to Mexico and I would never make the choice to like connect with myself first, communicate with the cancer first, try my chances first, I would have never gotten the beautiful surgery at the first place because it wasn't available yet, and also I would never be ready to do it. I would just have an amputated breast or a deformed breast, and I would like just never be ready to let go of all those things. So somehow you just need your own time to think. But now I'm again in a point that I don't get the chance to wait because the doctors say you have to do this as soon as possible, otherwise you can die or it's going to be irreversible. And even stage 4, there's so many people online that I read that are like having radical remissions, and mostly when they are in stage 4, mostly when the cancer is like, it has been everywhere, mostly when everybody gives up on you, like all the doctors just give up. Yeah, there's also a little bit of judgment on my mom. Some people think my mom is influencing me because she's like brainwashing me to not go for treatment, but that's really not the case. If somebody is like refusing treatments and everything, it's me. It's all me. What my mom is doing, she's just next to me. She's just like, I'm here for you, holding space for you, whatever your choices are, I'm here. If I would be alone in this moment, I would probably just like, because everything is too much. I have a little bit of ADHD as well, and I would probably not take care of myself enough. And she's here now every morning. She makes those amazing green juices. We are like on a green juice and raw vegan diet, plant-based right now, just to get the best nutrients in the body. I'm taking superfoods and everything, and she's really helping me to make sure that the juice is every morning there. She's been supporting me. She went with me to Mexico. She told me, like, if you go to Mexico, go as soon as you can. She's willing to go to India with me. Everything tells us, like, India is gonna be India. We don't have the money now, of course. But if something happens that it will be possible to go to India and India confirms, like, we can treat you and we can get, like, the medical... Even imagine that shitloads of money will just come our way and Spirit says, like, boom, we will provide for your healing. There are so many hospitals who do so many treatments in Germany, in Mexico. It doesn't matter. It can even be next door. In Germany, they have like hospitals who also treat cancer in less invasive ways. It's just very pricey because it's not covered by the insurance. But I heard so many stories of people just healing that way as well. It doesn't have to be necessarily chemo, in my eyes. If those options come, my mom is here to support me anyway. She doesn't have the money to support me, but she will be there with me every step of the way. If these things don't happen, and this is the only thing that can happen for me, my mom will be there also every step of the way. She's not telling me you have to do this or you have to do that. She just tells me I will be there for you, holding space for you, whatever your choices are.
Yeah, so I had two dreams. Like 3 weeks ago, I had a dream that we were in a waiting room, me and Charlotte. It was a really big white space with blue lights. We were waiting. And then from the left side, there's suddenly an invisible door that opens. And there's a woman also dressed with like a white dress with blue, a little bit like silvery as well. And she says, I have what you need to heal your cancer. So she says, do you want to? And then I speak to Charlotte, and then she says, yeah, let's do it. And she says, you have to come with me. I'm going to take you to another room. So we go with her to another room, and there's this bed, like with a big circle, blue circle, and then lots of lights inside. And I say to Charlotte, this looks like a med bed, but it's not a med bed yet. And the woman says, yeah, but it's also an alien technology. And then Charlotte goes onto the bed and then goes inside. And then there's all these little lasers lights that go onto her body and go onto the places where the cancer is. I think maybe 2 weeks later, or maybe a week later, there's suddenly a woman from India, a doctor, Ayurvedic doctor that I used to know when I was living in India. She calls out of the blue, 6 o'clock in the morning, and she says, I haven't been on Messenger for like 7 years, and I suddenly see your message and I feel that I'm called to call because I do have the cure for Charlotte's cancer. And she talks about Cytotron, which is a machine, and she sends me a link, and I look and it's exactly the way that I saw the machine in my dream. So we were like, yeah, maybe it's a good idea to go to India. And she told us what the price is, but then she also said that it's not so important to pay it immediately. She says, you just come and you can pay it later, or we set up a crowdfunding or whatever, but you really need this. She also told us that she has to do homeopathy with somebody from Canada, and that she's going to make sure that we have a medical visa. And so, yeah, this is also something that came up. But then last week I had a dream that we were in another waiting space, but that was all like green and with pictures of nature, big windows. And then there's a man that comes and gives Charlotte a green box and says, this is your cure for cancer. And so we opened the green box, and one side were all like supplements. Then there was like vegetables, like all sorts of greens. And then there was a medicine that was wrapped in a green wrapper. And so it sort of said like, nature's gonna help you. The supplements you're taking are gonna help you, your connection with nature. And then the green wrapper was like something that still needs to be discovered. But because of the green color, it also said that like you have to heal your heart. If your heart is healed, you're gonna be fine. But then the man said, you have to do this for the rest of your life. He didn't say you have to take this, he said you have to do this. So if it means like a whole new way of living and also living from the heart, that's what you have to do for the rest of your life. That's so for me, and I'm really connected to my dreams, so I always feel like when something like this happens, it's kind of important.
And the funny thing is, like from the beginning of the diagnosis, the first messages that came to me was Mexico, India. And I couldn't choose between Mexico or India. And then somehow in this ayahuasca ceremony, I thought like Mexico.
But it's also because the Ayurvedic doctor said that he couldn't help you.
Yeah, I have an Ayurvedic doctor in India, and he was always like, if I have something like cancer, I will just call him. But he just rejected me. He was like, if you have this cancer, surgery is the only way. I was like, was so disappointed. And I was like, okay, bye, India plan.
The woman from India said that the machine wouldn't work if she would do chemotherapy.
Yeah, because then my immune system is too low. They don't treat people after chemo because they're just too weak. If there was money, there were so many
There's
options.
so many options.
But our options are just now
always limited.
And it's limited to what insurance covers. And even now, when I'm in Belgium, I had a GoFundMe for a while, which saved my life actually, because the government didn't want to give me an income support. Yeah. My mom, she set up a GoFundMe, and she had amazing friends, her friends especially, who sent money. While I was here, I was able to get like the IVs of high dose vitamin C, the IVs of Helixor, which is like the mistletoe extract. I was able to go to doctors, I was able to buy organic food, but I also had to pay the bills, take care of Howakhan, all the bills, because there was nothing else. Then
the food that you eat is expensive.
Of course, it's organic greens, it's all
and in juices there's so many kilos of vegetables before you have a juice, you know.
And then all the supplements I had to buy as well that are supporting my health. I think in the hospital they were all like super surprised, like how can this girl recover so fast? And I just think it's because of my diet. But then also like my kinesist, the woman who was like treating my arm, like normally I couldn't lift up my arm but you have to like reteach your body how to move again. Yeah. She was like, wow, you are recovering just so fast, like it's going so quickly. And I was like, yeah, I'm taking that supplement and that supplement and that supplement. I'm also practicing. But with all the research, like there are also a lot of supplements who can support your body, but it costs a lot. First of all, I want to talk to a female oncologist, because my oncologist now, I didn't have that. He's a nice man. He's super intelligent. Nothing bad to tell about him. He's just saying what he knows, and respect that a lot. But I didn't feel it with him. There's another girl, like same age as me. She has stage 4 cancer, same type of cancer. She's also really thinking about cancer the same way as me. And she's been treated by an oncologist, a female one, who is more understanding. So first of all, I wanted to make an appointment with her. The appointment is at 15:15 is the time, and it's the 3rd. So it's like 333, blah, blah, blah. I had a good feeling about her. I want to ask the oncologist, what is the safest way to be able to do the other treatments? Is there something I really have to do urgently, like radiation or another type of medicine to suppress the cancers? And then it's like really talking through, like, what are we gonna do? If it's gonna be India, the costs are gonna be the flights for me, my mom, and Howakhan, because I cannot leave Howakhan alone. And me and Howakhan alone in India, we're gonna get lost. Like, my mom has lived in India, she knows her way around, and it's also, I feel much safer with my mom with me, because I feel like family for me are like trees, and sometimes I feel lost in a dark forest. And like family is like a tree to support me when I'm lost, like to hold me. And my mom is like the strongest tree I have in this moment, so I would love her to come. So it would be tickets. If I choose for radiation, just radiation in Belgium. So that's also like an option, but it's like, yeah. If you want to go to Germany, to the hospital, who do everything, like the chemo and everything, but they also do ozone therapy, immunotherapy, all kinds of non-invasion therapies, because the doctors, they want to give chemo now. Because they say if you wait with chemo, then it doesn't matter anymore, it's going to be too late. What was also a very difficult part of this cancer diagnosis for me was losing my fertility. It broke my heart. It just broke me. I always felt I was really made to be a woman. I loved my moon. I loved the lunar cycle. I also loved this death and rebirth that we have inside of us as women. Always letting go of the old, and every time that your moon was finished, you have like this new energy. You are like reborn. And also I really had like another child wish. I just thought like I had time enough. And I was already a little bit like anxious about menopause. The last year, I was like, oh my God, maybe I have to start like planning because menopause is maybe coming in the future. And then suddenly on my birthday, and after Howakhan's birthday, like in this period, I got my diagnosis, and then they were telling me that maybe I will never be able to make a child again, and that I will have to be menopausal for the next, taking pills for the next 10 years. And I was so broken. And now suddenly I was in this hospital room, and they were telling me things about freezing eggs and insemination and maybe losing my fertility and chemotherapy and all those things. And I was just like a fake boob. And then the biggest grief that I got, it really took me weeks to accept it, was like the losing the breast. And not because how the breast looked, but just like I was crying for weeks. Just the idea that this boob will not ever be able to nurture a child anymore, I was just broken. And now I have to get this injection like every month. And I have to take this medication of hormone therapy every day. The doctors of Portugal, they told me that if I do chemo, I will probably be unfertile for the rest of my life. But that was really the hardest part. I cried for days and for weeks, I think. I felt like they were taking a piece of me, like what I am, what I'm made to do, everything. You suddenly feel very alone as well. And the realization of where in your life you have been giving away your energy that are really not in alignment with your soul. Time standing still. When you get this diagnosis, everything just stops. And there's nothing else that you can do than just look within. Where is this coming from? Why is this happening to me? Where did I go wrong? Where did I take wrong paths? Why am I so deeply unhappy? Whilst I thought I was happy, and at some point I am, and I always was, because I have a beautiful son, beautiful family, but something was just not right. Too much trauma hidden deep inside that was still controlling my life. And I didn't look inside. I didn't want to see the dark. I wanted to put it under the mat. You get this confrontation of everything because there's no more distractions in life. Everything that you think you need to do, like paying bills, this pressure that you have of thinking you need to do things, it all just drops. Yeah, in this way you also get confronted with, for example, past mistakes, no? When you think okay, where did I go wrong? Okay, where did my life really get distracted? You realize that your life may be over at some point. It will maybe shortened or even stop. Yeah, you suddenly get confronted with what is really important in life and what is not. In the end, it was needed. In this way also to become your true self again, now that you know what is important and what is not. And for me, it all came back to the basic. And for me, that is family, my child, nature, health. All this became suddenly super, super important. Also, all the simple things in life became so much more beautiful. So I really have a lot of trouble of asking things to people, because sometimes there's this inner feeling that I don't deserve it, or that I don't deserve other treatment plans than what
What's available?
Conventional world is offering me. But somehow in my spirit, that's really my dream and the path I want to take. The only thing is I don't have money. I'm a single mom. I'm taking care of my kids. There's almost no income at this moment. So I'm really crying out for help as well. I'm sharing my story, and I hope it can inspire some people. And of course, if there ever would be an opportunity to try those other alternatives, I would be willing and very happy to share also more about my story and to be a test subject, even to see if it's gonna work or not.
So the video is also to explain to people the journey that Charlotte's been on, but also because we still need funds to be able to do what treatments we want to do. If we want to step away from even if we want to do the regular treatments on the side, she will need to do all the alternatives to keep her immune system strong.
So this is a little piece of my story. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. If you want to see the whole story, click on the link below. And whatever you want to donate, it will be so much appreciated.
So if you had all the money in the world, what would you buy?
If I had all the money in the world, I should buy a Lamborghini, 10,000 Rubik's Cubes, Posca markers, a big giant swimming pool, and 100 skateboards, and a lot of paper to paint.
And what would you get for your mum?
For my mom, I gotta take medicine, and I'm gonna give her all my money. Finished.
Hello everybody, I hope you liked to listen to my story, and I just want to take my time to share a little bit about what has been going on in the last couple of weeks and why it has been so difficult to make choices at this point. I don't want the things to be misinterpreted, especially around my choices, as I have been sharing a lot about my fears and doubts of treatment, my fears of chemotherapy, and all those things, but I don't want you to think that I'm completely declining all treatment. In the first months of my diagnosis, I was completely like, I want to heal naturally, but of course it was a learning process, and in the end, yeah, you learn. So, but still, that doesn't mean that until today, it has not been difficult to make choices. And I will explain to you why. And why that I'm so hesitant and why the things are going as they are going right now. Normally, the protocol after surgery with so many lymph nodes involved would be in a safe period of time between 4 to 6 weeks. That's a safe window. You will start chemotherapy, then radiation, then hormone therapy. But I had a little complication, and this was that they saw some spots in the lungs. And because so many lymph nodes were involved, this means that the cancer is already traveling in your body. They thought that the spots in my lungs might be metastases. Or, instead of stage 3, if you have lymph nodes involved, stage 4, metastases. But they have to know this information, because if you are stage 4 or with metastases, then chemotherapy is not really the protocol anymore. If the cancer is only in the lymph nodes, then you have a lot of benefit out of chemotherapy. If it's in the lungs, they don't do that. They give you inhibitors or hormone therapy together. They gave me an appointment with the oncologist, and this is what the oncologist was explaining to me. The appointment with the oncologist, the first appointment I got, was 4 weeks after surgery. He explained to me the situation like, we don't know how to treat you yet because we don't know what is the situation with your lungs. To know that, we have to take a biopsy, and then we will know how to treat you, because we don't want to over-treat you with chemotherapy that won't be beneficial, but we also don't want to under-treat you with only the inhibitors and the hormone therapy with the chances that it's not enough. So we have to take the biopsy. And I was like, oh, I didn't want to do the biopsy. I was so scared. But I thought like, okay, maybe my body will say what is my destiny. If it's in the lungs, this means that I have to take the route of only the inhibitors and hormone therapy. But also then I thought like, maybe then it's destiny that from a stage 4 person, I have to heal naturally together with those new medicines that are quite promising, with chances that it's not enough. But then I thought like, then I have to put 100% of combining conventional and non-conventional and go for it and heal and be one of the people that healed from stage 4. And I was like, okay, then that's my destiny. But if it's only in the lymph nodes and the lungs is nothing, then it would have been my destiny to go to hell, peel myself completely naked, no more ego, no more hair, even no more fertility. But then I would do everything in my power to survive for my kid. So that was my way of thinking. So I arrived at the lung specialist thinking that I was going for a biopsy, completely prepared, super scared about it because I hate biopsies. I didn't want to do it, but I had to know more. But then the lung specialist, 6 weeks after surgery, that was my appointment, he told me that we cannot do a biopsy of your lungs. And then he said, like, what we can offer you is a surgery of the lungs. So, but he told me that the chances are we will take the wrong piece of lung because your dots are super tiny. You will breathe in, you will breathe out during surgery, so your lungs will move. We are not sure we will be able to find the right piece. This means a weak section, so they take a piece of lung and then they said, like, the chances are that we will do surgery, you will wake up from surgery and we will have to tell you, like, sorry, we are still in the same position of not knowing the information we need to know to see how you have to be treated. And then he said, the choice is yours. And I was like, how can I choose something like this? Or do we chemotherapy with the chances that it's over treatment and not working really well, because from the hormone therapy, my body's reacting super well to hormone therapy. The cancer is now from fast dividing to slow dividing, from 20% to less than 1%. So chemotherapy works only on fast dividing cells. So this was already an issue. And now that the chances are that I have stage 4 and the chemotherapy won't work at all, this was already like, do I really want to go through that? Not knowing that it will be really beneficial and I will heal from it? Like, But then my other option was to take a surgery, maybe for nothing. So who wants to poke in your lungs for nothing? And then the other chances were to go to the root of the inhibitors and the hormone therapy, with the chances that it's not enough and the metastasis can still happen. That was difficult. So meanwhile, I took a second opinion to know a little bit more. I already had covered appointments to, in case I have to do chemotherapy, to freeze my eggs, which I got. This appointment I got 10 weeks after surgery, what I thought was really a little bit late, because you still have to put hormones, you have to activate your cells, you have to retrieve them. That's a process of around 3 to 4 weeks, 2 to 3, you never know. So I was like, whew, then I'm already like 14, 13 weeks after surgery, so the time. And then, yeah, okay. So after the appointment with the lung surgeon and then them giving me the choice, I went to get a second opinion in Amsterdam, a very well-known clinic that was specialized in cancer. And they were almost sure that that they won't take the right piece of lung. So they suggested me to do a PET scan. And as soon as possible, because a PET scan would say if it's metastasis or not, if there's something going on. If not, they would suggest me chemotherapy. This was around 8 weeks after surgery that I got this second opinion. So I was waiting for my egg freezing appointment, and when I got that, like the 10th week after the surgery, they told me that I didn't have a lot of eggs. So if they would try to extract eggs, they will probably not catch many, which was also very frustrating. And then they also told me that if we give you chemotherapy, you will probably be menopausal forever after that. And I was like super sad, super disappointed. I was really ready to do chemotherapy, to freeze my eggs, to preserve a little bit of hope, to be able to maybe one day make the choice of making a sister for Howakhan or brother. But yeah, this dream was also like taken away. Another one, like but then I got like a third opinion. My both parents suggested me, like, just get a third opinion, a very well-known hospital international of Portugal. And they told me, like, okay, this was already 10 weeks or 11 weeks after surgery. They said, like, normally our protocol would also be chemotherapy because of all the lymph nodes that are involved. We would probably just check your lungs from time to time to see if something is changing. But we are a little bit concerned that it is already very late. to do chemotherapy. Our concern is that it's late, so that it won't be so beneficial anymore. The second concern was that my body is reacting super well on the hormone therapy. My cells are slow dividing and the chemotherapy is working on fast dividing cells. And she said, like, if you are so concerned about the bad things that chemo would do to you, like heart failure, heart problems, neuropathy, forever being menopausal, she suggested that we are 100% sure that you will have very much benefit out of the CDK4/6 inhibitors and hormone therapy and radiation, but you have to do it as fast as you can so the cancer cannot spread. And they told me that if I want to have a child one day, then they think it might be safe enough for me to take 3 years of hormone therapy, CDK4/6 inhibitors, the new promising medicine that is recently being used, and I can take a break after 3 years and try to conceive naturally in a window of 2 years, if the cancer didn't come back in the meanwhile. Although it's a little bit tricky and there's a lot of mixed messages about that, but she said, like, you can try this and it might be safe and you might conceive naturally within this window of time. And I was like, ooh, some good news. As soon as Amsterdam told me that I have to do a PET scan, I already planned the PET scan. I'm still waiting for the PET scan. It will be next week, around 11 or 12 weeks after surgery. And this will tell everything. It's going to say, like, is the cancer still in control? Is there some changes in the lungs? If there's some metastasis? And then I will make the final decision to go for chemotherapy with the slow dividing cells and all the complications to come, that it's already super late. The surgery, I already cancelled in my head because the chances were that they were going to take the wrong piece of lung. I don't want them to poke in my lungs. I don't want them to do anything like that for nothing. Like, come on. Or I will just take the route of the inhibitors, the hormone therapy, trust in spirit, trust in nature, trust in my body, and do everything that I have in my power to heal naturally on the side. I already have been in contact with the people from India. They're going to send me already natural medicines as well to help me on my healing journey. And yeah, take the chances. Be a test of science if the new medicines are that promising as they are showing on the tests. Because in some cases they were very promising, in other cases not. And mostly people take them after doing chemotherapy. There are a few cases that took them without chemotherapy and it went well. And probably in some cases it went wrong. So yeah, I'm going to make the decision soon. And I just wanted to share why it has been so complicated. Thank you for listening.